Hey, what's going on? Welcome. How's everybody doing? Let's take a look at a comic book. We're going to take a look at Daredevil number 100. Now, this isn't the Marvel Daredevil comic. This isn't Matt Murdock. This isn't the Daredevil that you know. This is not that Daredevil. This is a Lev Gleason publication from the early 1950s. We're going to take a look at it. This video is brought to you by Gotham City Comics and the John Goris channel on YouTube. Go watch Ghost Tank 4, everybody. You'll love it. Let's take a look at The Little Wise Guys, featured in Daredevil, July number 100. Let's get the year before we even continue any further, okay? We're going to do, how I like to do these. If you haven't seen the way I do these, here we go. July 1953, Volume 1, number 100. Daredevil is published monthly by Lev Gleason Publications, 114 East 32nd. Angela Bird, business manager. Lev Gleason, okay, is a very successful comic book publisher. You're thinking, what? I never heard of this before. He really is, because they have another comic that's called Crime Does Not Pay, and it's the number one seller in every major market. And so Daredevil is another title that they're putting out to counterbalance crime, the lurid, exploitative qualities of Crime Does Not Pay. They created this title, Daredevil, that in a way counterbalanced that, because this is a title that is supposed to be for children. The main characters are these four boys that are called the Little Wise Guys, and they're the heroes, and they battle crime every issue. There they are. We'll get to know them by the time we're done with this issue. Authorized ACMP, conforms to the Comics Code. And now, as I was saying, if you're new to the channel, you're not familiar with how I do this, we're going to go through this entire comic. Now, we're not going to read every panel or look at every panel, but we're going to get a feel for it. It's almost going to be like we have 15 minutes or 20 minutes in the waiting room at the doctor's office, and we're leafing through, and we see this. We go, oh, this looks cool. 2 feature-length Little Wise Guys illustories, plus Dilly Duncan. What's going on the cover? Go get 'em, Glocky. They're the ones who hate you. Look at his fingerless gloves. So when you see a clown with grubby hands like this and fingerless gloves, you immediately know it's an evil clown. Also, look at this sweatshirt and tube socks. Oh, he's creepy looking, you guys. And then these are a couple of your Little Wise Guys. This is Pee-wee or Slugger. I think he's called both names, I think he's Pee-wee, but he's also referred to as Slugger. I forget. This is the very first Lev Gleason comic I ever purchased, around 10 years ago, and I read it right then. And it was what sold me on buying like 100 more of these comics, because I've got a giant stack. I was on the Fossils, on 4-Color Fossils with Graphic Man earlier this evening, and I showed the stack, and hopefully maybe we'll get to that. We'll do a whole thing. Maybe we'll do a cover video, and we'll go through looking at everything. So this cover is what sold me on buying this comic, and also because it was $5. So I discovered that these books in 2.0, 2.5, and 3.0 were between $5 and $10 about 10 years ago, and that's what got me started. Then I realized they were good, and I just kept buying them and kept reading them, kept buying them, kept reading them. Pre-code, early 1950s. Interesting ad for a comic book that you might think is for children. Free valuable gift coupons with all Lev Gleason comics. Jewelry. What kid wants jewelry? Look, it says Lev Gleason Publications. They had a whole thing. See, look at that. He's trying to cash in on every angle. The back cover is an ad for his own business. Is this also Lev Gleason selling us pens? It is. The inside cover is Gleason selling us watches and pens. What kid wants to buy watches and pens? 115 Lev Gleason comic. This coupon is redeemable with the undersigned according to the terms stated in this advertisement. except that in any state where redemption in goods is prohibited or requiring payment of a license or tax not required for cash redemption, this coupon is void, and the other herein contained is not extended, and it is void where the issuance or redemption thereof is prohibited. Lev Gleason Publications Incorporated, 114 East 32nd Street, New York City. This offer expires December 31st, 1954. Huh. That's interesting. That's strange. Okay, so front cover or inside cover, back cover are not even they're not even outside ads. They're ads within the corporation. So at the top we see it says Daredevil. At the beginning, this title is called Daredevil at the start because there's a superhero named Daredevil. The very first issue is called Daredevil versus Adolf Hitler, I think. And on the cover, you've got Daredevil punching Adolf Hitler. That comic is one of the most valuable and sought after comics. Well, then it's kind of that comic, I believe, was the very first comic that Lev Gleason and Charles Biro ever came up with. And from that comic of Daredevil punching Hitler, everything else was born. All the whole idea of continuing to make comics came from the success of that one comic. Pretty sure, but I'm not an expert. I'm just an enthusiast. The Little Wise Guys in the Hyena Wore Pants. Story by Charles Biro. The art's probably going to be Norman Maurer. Do you see Norman's signature? Usually it'll say Norman Maurer here somewhere. It is a beautiful panel though, isn't it? So this is kind of like the splash page. That snoopy little brat's poking around in my wagon. Must have found something to implicate me. Well, I know how to fix him. Go on, boy. Go get him. Ugh. Grrr. Well, on the cover it was a clown. But on the inside panel here, it's... Who is that? Woodrow Wilson? If this evidence means what I think it does, it'll prove Mr. Neely innocent and Mr. Morgan guilty. Okay, so, and he's got a gun. Okay, don't forget that. Don't overlook that Pee-wee's packing. Pee-wee has a rifle. So this is what you're going to get. That's the first one I ever read. I'm not going to reread it right now. I'm just going to tell you, because I've read many of these in the past, that this is a crime comic. Now, it doesn't look like a crime comic, but it's just a crime comic. I mean, well, it's not just a crime comic. It's an awesome crime comic. But the heroes in this crime comic are going to be a gang, a street gang of 4 boys called the Little Wise Guys. And they have stereotypes, okay? There's so there's 4 different ones, and we'll try and find a good page of. Here they all are. Okay. So here's how I would describe everybody. Here's Pee-wee. He is the alpha, even though he's a tiny little guy, even though he's a little person, apparently. He's really the hero. He is the main guy. This tall, skinny guy with the messed up haircut, his name is Scarecrow, and he's kind of a country bumpkin, or like he's from all these guys are from the Bronx, and he's like from Long Island or something. This guy in the center, I forget his name. I think this guy's Curly, I swear to God. Well, we'll see if we can find their names in a second. Anyway, this guy in the center is like a schoolboy, but he's a jock, but he's like an ex-schoolboy. He's like a prep school kid that got kicked out. And then the other guy, Curly, I forget what his deal is. I think that he might be slow. See, look, it's not so bad, Scarecrow. Nothing. I just figured that if Slugger could play with him, so could I. So, see, they call Pee-wee Slugger sometimes. I don't quite get it. Jock. Okay. The guy with the glasses that I told you is like the prep school kid with the sweater vest. His name is Jock. And I'm pretty sure that kid with no hair is named Curly. Anyway, you get it. And what I'm telling you, what you get is that this guy Charles Biro loves to write. This is the first page. And hoofa. Look at the size of these word balloons. What is going on here? I mean, maybe you want to pause and read the story. You could do that if you wanted to. I mean, you totally could. Look at all the writing that's happening here. What the heck? Oh, Slugger, oh, Slugger. Slugger's inside there with... Wow, that's a great panel. I love that panel. He's in there with the gorilla. Yeah, I love how he's got a pith helmet. Whoa, look at, they got this cat. So through, oh no, look at all the words. So through all of this is all a setup for a crime story. It's all a setup for a crime story is what you're looking at. That's what this is a big setup for an elaborate crime story. And this guy, Charles Biro, he's writing like 4 different titles just like this every month at this point. I don't know how he did it. He must have just been smashing the keys on that typewriter. Because look at all this. But look at the beautiful work. Okay, so I'm talking about the writing, and now we're going to talk about the work. Now I think that this is Norman Maurer, but it could be Biro because it's hard to tell. Because I don't think this is Charles Biro though. His work is better than this. This looks kind of loose, but this is under his direction. So I'm pretty sure he's loose penciling absolutely everything. He's loose penciling everything. Because he wants it all to look exactly how he wants it to look. This is his thing. He's producing these. Even though you've got these 3 guys' names on the cover, this entire thing is him. It really is. You've got this guy who's a suit in the front office, and he's a really powerful suit because they're making a ton of money, and he's the president of the Comic Book Publishing Association. This guy, Bob Wood, is an alcoholic and kind of a subpar artist. He's working with Biro, I think, because they're friends from the beginning. I can only surmise and go by what I've read. And what I've read is that they both are making a lot of money because this is the entire shop that you're looking at right here. Now, Biro is hiring artists to do what I was just telling you, like what's happening on the inside here. This might be this guy Norman Maurer, or it might be something else. But these guys are the people that they're hiring to do this work are not making the money. The people making the money are the 3 guys on the cover. And this guy is the guy who's really writing absolutely everything, and it's his direction to how everything turns out. It's really all Charlie Biro. Why dream about it? Why dream about fun when you can have it? By reading Dilly Comics, starring Dilly Duncan, America's funniest school hero. Ask for it on your newsstand. It's better than a daydream. So this is Gleason and Biro trying to compete with Archie at the very beginning. It's 1953. This comic is July 1953. And look at that. Isn't that Pep Comics? Wow, that's so cool. This is probably Biro. I mean, that's his work too. So we just all house. Finally, we get something. Do you think that Lev Gleason is going to sell us the Hip Pocket Gym? No, it's not. It's Major League Suppliers. Okay, so we get an outside ad. It's a full pager for the Hip Pocket Gym, which is just a piece of elastic with 2 handles attached to it. It's horrible. You'd be much better just doing push-ups and sit-ups and running 2 miles a day. This is terrible. Dilly Duncan of Dorset High in Hot Rod Duncan. Okay, this is more Biro. Okay, so I didn't give anything away in this story. We didn't really even talk about it. There were some great panels, and it looks really cool. Look he's giving Slugger a kiss here at the end. I like how he's got the gun, and there's some stuff going on, but we don't even know. I haven't given the story away completely. You'll have to go buy your own, so I won't get copyright struck by Lev Gleason. So Dilly Duncan, how would I describe Dilly Duncan? Dilly Duncan is like one of those. It's a I don't know. It's kind of like I think he's a reporter. I think he's like a boy reporter, if I remember right. But it's going to be a lot of exposition because it's Biro. So it's going to be tons of writing. It's going to be a morality tale that involves crime. And the art's going to be good. And the writing's going to be good. But there's not going to be a lot of humor. So that's the other thing. So from the cover of this, let's see. I mean, what does this look like to you guys? Does this look like it's funny? Does it look like this is going to be funny on the inside? It doesn't. Does it look like it's going to be scary on the inside? Yeah, it kind of looks like it is. This kind of looks to me like it's going to be scary on the inside. I mean, if I'm a kid, if I'm 8, do I think this is going to be exciting on the inside? I would say yes, because I identify with this kid. Clearly this is, I mean, you don't even see Scarecrow's head. His whole face is cut off. So here's Slugger, or also called Pee-wee, I think, later on. But here's Slugger, and so you're like, oh, there's a kid, and there's an evil clown releasing a gorilla to go and get him and maybe smash his head or crush his skull with his hand. Look at the nails on his feet. So it's kind of scary. I don't know. It's all crime in here. There's nothing funny happening. Look at the art. It's beautiful. I mean, there's attempts at humor and stuff. Like you saw the gorilla kissing Slugger there. And look at how beautiful these cars are and how nice the coloring is. It's very nice. So when I discovered that these Golden Age comics from the early 1950s were between $5 and $10 in the condition that we're looking at right here, I think this is a 2.0, maybe a 2.5. It's all held together perfectly. The staples are still connected. There's some spine wear, and there's some, it's from 1953, you guys. It's 70 years old. So this comic that's almost exactly 70 years old, right? 53 to 2023, yeah. It's July in a couple weeks. This comic was on the stands exactly 70 years ago. So exactly 70 years ago, this was on the stands. And you can buy these, or I don't know about that. When I first got into this, part of the reason why I got into this is because this comic cost the same price as a new comic at the comic shop. And so this, to me, was a better investment into my reading enjoyment. I wasn't buying these because I thought that this would be some form of investment like a comic book commodity, thinking that this would increase in value. No, it sold for 10 cents, and 60 years later, I was buying it for $5. I was buying it to read it. I was buying it to read it to see how cool it was, to see if it was indeed, what was it? Because when I saw this, just like we're talking about right now, like you might be saying, I was like, what is this? I knew that there was a Golden Age Daredevil, but I was wondering why he wasn't on the cover. And then I was wondering, who are these kids? Why does it say the little wise guys featured in Daredevil? I was curious because the cover is odd. And like I said, it's not supposed to be funny. I think it's supposed to be scary, which is strange. I was like, what is this? I was curious. Let's look at this creepy ad. It's Uncle Bernie's Fun Shop. Buy now at our low, low prices. Dolls of the world. Whoa. Look at this cowboy smoking a cigarette. And he's over 19 inches tall. Happy the cowboy, I'm terrific. He's over 19 inches tall, moves his mouth, arms and legs, real cowboy outfit. So he's a ventriloquist cowboy. Hi, I'm Ginger, the doll whose hair you can wave. Electric movie projector. Novelty Mart. American heroes. Some facts you may not know. So it's Thomas Edison, Jack Dempsey, the boxer, and George Washington, the father of our country. So this is Lev Gleason. Excuse me, it's not Lev Gleason. This is a Lev Gleason publication. This is Biro filling space. So this is Biro filling a page. That's what this is. This is Biro being productive, and he might be short a page. You see how much he's writing, so this might be easier and quicker for him to write. And here's another one. We get Babe Ruth, the Wright brothers, and then something about Will Rogers. This is better than a text story to me. To me, I would, as a kid and even now as an adult, I would prefer to read what Biro is doing here than to read a text story. Here's the second little wise guy story in Scarecrow's Shame. So Scarecrow's getting smacked by what looks like an adult with a right uppercut. Gee, fellas, aren't you going to root for me? How about you, Slugger? Ugh! Where are they, at a party? Is this more? Yeah, there we go. Okay, see, this is what I was looking for in the first story. See this guy down here, Norman Maurer. He is the most capable of the Gleason artists that would be working for Charles Biro. Okay, but the reason why I believe now Moore is a good artist, but the reason why Moore's art looks so good is because Biro likes it, and Biro is he's following Biro's direction because it looks just like the Biro stuff that you see. So this stuff is it's kind of like those guys that worked for Will Eisner that you don't know the names of. So or other people that you don't know, you know what I mean. So Moore is the best one. It's gonna be crime. I don't know. I'm not reading all this. Maybe you are. Maybe you're pausing it and read it. You obviously could if you wanted to. This guy's got a Giants jersey on. Looks like they're playing the Giants. The wise guys are playing the Giants. I love how they just got in a brawl. I love this panel. Look at this. It's great. Who's she? You guys liking this? We're at 21 minutes. I hope it's okay. At 21 minutes, if we had read every panel, I'd probably be about halfway through this comic. I love to slowly read comics, and I look at all these panels, and I look at everything. I think things through when I'm reading a comic. And I think about the creation of it, and what the layout looked like, and what he wanted out of it, what he was doing. So it takes me longer to read comics, especially ones like this that are so artfully produced by this guy, Charles Biro. I mean, this guy was good. But maybe it's not for everybody. I mean, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you're like, what the heck are you talking about, man? This looks horrible. This looks boring as heck. This looks as boring as heck. It's just a lot of talking, a little bit of action, some weird kids and some gangsters. What's happening? It's just meh. I don't really care about it. But I'm interested in it, and maybe you liked it. If you do like it, these are definitely out there. If you can name these silhouettes, then you are a Boy Comics fan. If not, then you should be. Don't be kept in the dark. Read the best fun maker on the newsstands. Reserve your copy today. Well, I am a Boy Comics fan. I have a large collection of Boy Comics. So I'm pretty sure I know everybody here. That's Crime Buster on the upper left. That's Squeaks in the middle. On the far right, excuse me. Gosh, I'm sorry, that was terrible. My throat just got really dry. On the far right is Iron Jaw. And then this guy is a gangster, a comedic gangster. I can't remember his name right now for some reason. It's been a good 5 years or more since I've read a Boy comic, though I do have a large collection of them. We're gonna go through one next. Maybe we'll do Boy comics next. I forget this guy's name. We're gonna get it. When we read the next Boy comic, we'll remember his name now. But that's Crime Buster and Squeaks. They're the stars and heroes of Boy. That's Iron Jaw. He's the main villain. And then this guy, I forget his name. He's a gangster, and it's a comedic story. Here's some stamps. Tricky vanishing card. Here's a muscle ad. Jowett Institute of Physical Training, Fifth Avenue. I feel like we've seen this illustration a lot. This has been used in other ads or something. I don't think I've ever seen this guy before. Whoa, look at this giant beach ball that looks like a planet. That looks really cool. 3 feet high, all live rubber. What does that mean, all live rubber? Uh-oh, we got some problems here with look at that. See that? That top staple is genuine all rubber, no seam construction. This giant beach ball is nothing like cheap inflated beach toys. Okay, so it's saying there's no seam? It's like a balloon. Guaranteed 100% against breakage. It's just a big rubber ball, 3 feet high. I like how it looks like a planet. The way I think in the ad, what they're trying to do is simulate that marbling that rubber balls have on the outside. Because this is just a big rubber ball, right? How did it get to you? I wonder, did it come in a big box like this? Give your pal the giant beach ball. Costs so little, so much fun. I wonder if it came like this in a box. How did it arrive? Did you have to inflate it? Anyway, who cares? Chew improved formula chewing gum. Reduce up to 5 pounds a week with Dr. Phillips' plan. So I've seen this ad before. They're telling you to, instead of eat food, to chew gum. I think it's a great idea. I wish more women would do it. Get on board with this plan, ladies. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed that we took a look at Daredevil Comics number 100 from July 1953, featuring the Little Wise Guys. This is a later issue. You're like, 1953, that's a later issue, Meyer? Yeah, it is a later issue. The earlier issues are thicker. So this is like a 36-page issue that we went through. That's why it only took us 25 minutes. If it was a 52-page, like most of them are 52 pages. I'm serious. Most of them are bigger and thicker and will take you longer to read. But this one, luckily, was a later issue and was only 36 pages. But it still took us 26 minutes and we didn't even read it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out John Goris and his new video, Ghost Tank 4. And don't forget to support Gotham City Comics in Mason, Arizona. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you next time.